covering everything lead generation, specifically marketing for a dog training business. So if you haven't attended one of my webinars before, please feel free to go ahead and ask questions. I do, however, try my best to stay outside of the question box because my ADHD brain, I'm so easily distracted. Hi, Angelica, nice to see you in here. But do please let me know if you cannot see my screen. So currently right now, you should be able to see me, and then you should be able to see a slide that says Business Marketing 101, Lead Generation for Dog Trainers. Hi, Brian. Thanks so much for coming in. So just like in the chat right now, there is also a separate tab for questions. If you want to go ahead and put your questions in there, please, I welcome everyone to ask questions, and I will get to all of them at the end, so don't worry. Some of you have already emailed me letting me know that you're not going to be able to attend for the entire thing, or you might be popping in and out. Totally okay. I will email you the replay, so please do not stress. But without further ado, it is 4 o'clock, and I want to go ahead and get started. I tend to pack too much information into things, and so I want to make sure that I'm going to get through all the slides to give you guys all the options when it comes to lead generation. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with Business Marketing 101, Lead Generation for Dog Trainers. Okay, so some of the different contents that we're going to be going over. First, we're going to get an understanding of what is marketing, what is advertising, what is lead generation. We're going to do a brief overview of some of the different options for advertising and marketing. Then we're going to go ahead and really deep dive into the lead generation options. So that way, by the end of this, you have 5 core primary options when it comes to lead generation, but then you'll be able to actually dive in and do some applicable and action-oriented items for your dog training, your dog walking, grooming, boarding, whatever service-based business that you have, okay? So first, let's go ahead and start with what is marketing, what is advertising, and what is lead generation. So what do you need to start in order to start marketing and advertising and generating leads for your business? So you do not need additional revenue to run paid ads. You don't need a huge audience on social media, and you do not need a fancy website professionally created. So today's goal is going to be teaching you how to increase your marketing, actionable activities to begin this week, and then lead generation that doesn't involve a lot of risky spending, okay? So if you have followed my content or you have had one-on-one sessions with me, you're likely already very familiar broadly with some of these topics, but we're going to be diving in a little bit deeper today, okay? So first, let's go ahead and define our language usage and make sure that we are all on the same page and we have the same understanding with the different words that we are using. Okay, so marketing. The goal of marketing is to bring visibility and awareness. And typically, your marketing efforts are going to be organic. And these are going to be things that the effort that you put in is the results that you are going to get out. At least that's the goal and that is the objective, right? When it comes to advertising, your goal is you are going to pay for that visibility. Marketing is going to be organic. You're going to put effort in and to try and get attention, right? That's all that trying to get leads for your business and marketing your business is. It's all about attention. How many eyeballs can you get? With advertising, you are going to pay money for those eyeballs on your content, for that visibility and awareness that, hey, I exist here in the world as a business for training, grooming, boarding, walking, whatever it may be, right? Now with lead generation, the goal of lead generation is to capture potential customers and convert them. This is going to work strategically with your marketing and advertising efforts. For the purposes of this webinar, we are going to do lead generation with marketing and not with advertising, okay? So a lot of people think that they need these marketing and lead generation strategies, that you need to have a fancy website complete, you need to have perfectly thought out branding, do some paid advertising, a huge social media following, professional video equipment, expensive software, a full content strategy, and big results before you can show up online. Yes, you may need to have a degree of some of these different things, definitely not all of them. And these are just compiled of some of the different things that I have heard throughout the years of not just being in the dog industry, but specifically being a business consultant and mentor for other aspiring and established dog trainers in this industry. So what do you actually need in order to start marketing and for generating leads within your business? So you need to show up consistently on social media, educate dog owners on common problems and some of their solutions, sharing real client results, even the really small ones, posting imperfect but helpful content, local community networking, referral incentives, building trust through repetition, talking about your services clearly, having one clear CTA. This one is a really big one, a simple, repeatable content framework, and a small but engaged audience. You don't necessarily need to have a big one, and you don't even need to have any audience at all in order to start marketing and generating leads for your business. Essentially, you want to create momentum, and momentum is going to create clients, okay? So let's go ahead and review some of our options when it comes to lead generation, okay? I'm kind of giving you, we're gonna start high level, very broad, and we're gonna go ahead and niche down smaller and smaller and smaller and a lot more actionable, okay? So first, let's go ahead and cover some advertising options. Even though we are gonna be focused on marketing, I do wanna go ahead and arm you with some different options and just have you get as much information and education as possible. So that way you can move forward with a lot more clarity within your business, right? So number one, you can do social media paid ads. You can run Facebook ads, Instagram ads, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. You can run Google paid ads, so Google search ads. So for example, if you were to type in something and it always has like sponsored and then it has like 3 or 4 like businesses that are listed, they pay for the top of the search results, even though Google may not have wanted to have them as the top result, they pay to have that spot, right? Then there is pay-per-click, and then there is paid SEO services. We have local paid advertising. So on the front of grocery carts, like when you go to the grocery store and like there's like those little inserts, if you haven't ever noticed it before, pay attention to it. On the back of receipts as well, there's billboards, radio spots, physical stands, local magazines and newspapers. And then finally, we also have listings. So you can go ahead and get leads, and you can do some marketing and advertising through Bark.com, Thumbtack, Nextdoor, and then other local paid directories as well. For our advertising is typically going to be the least desired options for you guys as a beginner, or maybe you are just kind of struggling with lead generation, because typically at your starting point right now, you don't really have a lot of money for ads, and your options are that you need to pay someone to run your ads for you. So not only pay the person to do it, but also have the ad spend money, or you need to go ahead and learn how to do it. And the thing with ads is that you have to pay in order to start running ads, and they're going to be not very targeted. You have to be able to get a lot of data of your ideal target audience, and then your ads will go ahead and niche down. So you need to have a budget of getting enough exposure every single day, but then you have to do it over a long enough period of time. Ads don't really work if you do like, okay, I'm going to do like a boosted post here, and I'm going to run paid ads for like 3 days here or something like that. That's not how ads work. You might feel really intimidated by paid traffic, especially if you don't have a back-end system set up within your business and you don't really have a lot of things flushed out. Paid advertising is not going to be the best fit for you. You have heard of ads don't work unless you're already established. This is like sort of kind of true. And this isn't going to feel really great for beginners because you aren't really confident in your business model yet, right? So let's go ahead and talk about some of the different marketing options. This is the broad level overview. I'm going to go ahead and niche down and give specific actionable things that you can go ahead and do literally starting tomorrow or this weekend. Hopefully, this is like my goal and like my hope is that you're actually going to go out and like do some of the different things like this weekend. So some of the different things: SEO optimization, ambient marketing, incentives, events, and social media. So let's go ahead and dive into each of these different categories one by one and come up with some different ideas so you can start generating leads within your business, okay? So lead generation option number 1 is going to be SEO optimization. I am starting with like the least likely and maybe a little bit more challenging sort of options, and then move towards the more easier, more sustainable options as we go along. So SEO optimization is, so first let's go ahead and kind of get onto the same page of what even that is if you aren't familiar with it. SEO stands for search engine optimization. This is essentially the copy or the words that you have on your website, on your social media, anything that is public facing digitally. And this is going to, you're going to strategically have these words on a web page that is going to maximize search results. So that way, when users are searching for dog training or related content or services, your business is going to be pulled up. Now, a lot of entrepreneurs are aware that SEO exists, but it often feels really complicated. It requires a built out website. It takes time and expertise. It does not have instant gratification. And it's one of those things that a lot of people get to eventually, but it's not really their priority right now. So if you like the idea of SEO optimization, and when people search dog trainer near me and you are the one that pops up, this is something that you should be aware of and you should implement into your business, but it's more of a long-term growth strategy and not something that you're going to spend the weekend doing and then that's the only thing that you're ever going to need to do for marketing and lead generation for your business, right? So we have different types of SEO. So we have website SEO. So when you are developing your website, maybe you already have a website, but you should have these different things strategically and purposefully put onto your website to increase your SEO optimization. So when someone does search dog training near me, Google asks, can I use your exact location? They click yes, you are more likely to come up in the search results, right? So you want to have keyword rich services page. You want to have local SEO content. So on your website, you should have something like dog trainer in, and then specific city, state, for example. You should have a blog post that answer a lot of common questions. When Google or any other search engine, this could be Bing, this could be DuckDuckGo, this could be literally anything. If they are going to be recommending your website, they're also looking at very valuable sort of content. Like when the whole purpose of a search engine is to get the user to one place very quickly and have it be the solution for them. And they're going to stay on that website for a really long time. So having blog content that has really valuable keywords and also answers common questions is going to be really important for your website SEO. Website pop-up with a lead magnet, strong contact forms, funnel pages, and an FAQ section. So these different things are like the basic beginner stuff. So if you are taking notes, this is a screen that I would go ahead and screenshot, or I would jot some things down of like, okay, yeah, I think I can do that. Like blog posts, let's say, for example. Okay, the other thing in regards to SEO optimization is going to be your Google business profile. Oh my gosh, I need to drink some water. So this is how your business shows up in Google Maps when someone Googles dog trainer near me, puppy training in Raleigh, North Carolina, reactive dog trainer, dog behavior help in whatever city, right? If your Google business profile your Google business profile determines if you show up, how you will show up, and then also how trustworthy you look. So I'm not going to gatekeep. If you want to develop out your Google business profile, here are the things that you need to do, and you can go ahead and check these off of your list. So screenshot this right now and then go ahead and turn this into a task list and maybe work on this over the weekend. Your Google business profile should obviously have your business name. You should have a phone number, a service area. You don't necessarily need to have your specific address. You need to have your business hours, your category, trainer, groomer, boarding, walking, whatever. You need to have a detailed business description that is SEO optimized. Go into ChatGPT or into Claude or whatever it may be and ask for this type of description. Your services that you offer, a booking link or to your website, and then also high quality photos as well, optimally. If you only have your iPhone, great. Snap some pictures, go ahead and put it on there, but I would recommend having some pictures, a video, whatever it may be, okay? So Google loves to recommend businesses that look alive, that there are things that are happening and you are a dedicated business owner and you are actively paying attention to your Google business profile, okay? So this means that you should aim to post photos or videos weekly, if not weekly, like hopefully monthly. And additionally, you should be constantly asking for Google reviews to help boost your ranking score. If you can also put an FAQ on your Google business profile, things like how much does your, X specific service cost? Do you work with reactive dog clients? Do you walk dogs on a harness? What is the service area specifically that you serve, etc.? So having those different FAQs on your Google business profile is also going to be very, very beneficial, right? Now, the other thing that we should talk about is local online presence. So you don't need to wait to develop your social media presence to build an online presence. You can go ahead and start to get into contact with your local Chamber of Commerce directory, city or town business directory, local animal shelter recommended trainers list, neighborhood association, public library or community center resources list, classified sites like on Craigslist, for example, and with any local vet or groomer websites that also recommend trainers. Or if you are a dog walker, whatever your niche is, you can go ahead and get into contact with this list of people. Do a little bit of research. Not everyone will have a directory. Not everyone will have it for free, but chances are some of them will. And people do use those resources, which is why they are available for you to put your name onto and for people to access. And even if people are not accessing them, this is something that is also going to help your SEO optimization because you are listed more and more places on the World Wide Web, okay? The other thing, this is something that I personally did. I did this a lot on LinkedIn, but I also got into some Facebook community groups, and it's one of the fastest and easiest ways to generate a local online presence. And I would make sure that you read the Facebook group rules and guidelines. Many of them will say you cannot outright sell inside of our group. They may have specific days of like promo days where you can sell and market yourself, but I recommend being a part of these groups so that way you can provide value, offer tips, comment helpful advice, etc. So local neighborhood groups, moms of Raleigh, Holly Springs, Sarasota, whatever, parents of Seattle, Moscow, Coeur d'Alene, buy-sell trade groups, dog owner groups in your town, community swap and info groups, and then apartment community groups as well. So this is something that I think that when you have some spare time, have some downtime, and you're just kind of scrolling on your phone, open up Facebook and do some research of some local groups and then request to be a part of the groups. Make sure that you're following the guidelines and everything like that, and be in there and just like present some value, right? Be positioned as a local expert in these Facebook groups, right? You can also develop yourself as a local expert to reach out to local pet blogs or magazines. This is also something that I did with a local magazine here in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. We did like a quick phone call. I think it was about like 45 minutes long. They did like an article or something like that, and then listed me in their magazine website directory. So reach out to local pet store blogs, pet store rescues or shelters, daycares, grooming studio websites, city magazines. That's one of the ones that I did. Neighborhood newsletters, mommy blogs, and on just in general local online magazines as well. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into lead generation option number 2, which is going to be our ambient marketing. So again, remember, we are starting with like some of the more like, yeah, there are options, not super compelling. And then we're going to go ahead and go to like, yes, this is my idea of marketing. This is like the most desired sort of thing. So the next closest thing that a lot of beginner entrepreneurs really, really want to get into is ambient marketing, and something that a lot of people are very successful with if you do it correctly. A lot of people do it incorrectly, okay? So with ambient marketing, what is it? So this is a type of marketing and lead generation that, if done correctly, can generate a lot of leads quickly and turn into paying clients. But if done incorrectly, it will likely just lead to general awareness of your business. So don't be discouraged if you don't get any leads from this. It's a general just like canvassing, and you're kind of getting like your name out there, right? So ambient marketing are things like flyers, business cards, and then being physically present or visible out in the local community, right? So a really fantastic option I recommend for beginners to do is to create tearaway flyers and place them all over local areas like Tractor Supply, Starbucks, Panera, other local like small mom and pop coffee shops, places that people are sitting or standing at for long periods of time, parks and trails, bulletin boards, groomers, city halls, and in specific pet-centric areas, because your ideal target audience are going to be pet parents. So ideally, you need to be placing these things where pet parents are going to be the most, at the vet, at boutique stores, at food stores, etc., right? Here is the area where it usually fails when your goal is to do lead generation. If your goal is just to do marketing, do whatever you want. But if your goal is to do lead generation in specific, very generic messaging like call for lessons or get your dog trained today, very, very weak CTAs. You don't have a compelling call to action, and it's usually just like a phone number and email address. it doesn't stand out visually to grab attention. Maybe it is too word heavy. Maybe it is too hard to read. Your coloring, your font choice, whatever it may be. So instead, you should offer something of value, not just your services. Like you should offer a free phone consult and a free PDF download. Additionally, if you want to take it one step further in your marketing and lead generation, you should track where your traffic is coming from so you can double down on those areas of your marketing expertise, right? So here is a side-by-side example of a not so great tearaway flyer and a much better tearaway flyer. So if we were to look at the anatomy of the one on the left of the not great one, very generic. It says hire a dog trainer, hire our services today. It does have something of value, book a free phone consultation. And then the one on the right, it has a lot more. Like we speak to the pain points where we are saying, hey, if you have leash pulling, barking, jumping, not listening, anxiety, lunging on the leash, and more. So we're really calling people out of, do you have these pain points? And then you have a little bit of nurturing copy there and talking about like, hey, here are the solutions to the above pain points. At the bottom part of the copy here, you don't have to dread going on walks or being embarrassed when guests come over. Targeted emotional pain point is being called out. Schedule a free phone call. Schedule a phone call. Is only a free phone call away. Schedule now. Sorry, apparently I'm having a stroke. Tear away and take one. So you have your website and then you have a QR code. There's also instructions here as well. Some people have never experienced a QR code in their life. It's a little bit more common now, but it does happen, especially if you're living like in a older sort of neighborhood or where you're flying has like elderly folk and stuff. Maybe they've never used it before. So also having instructions there. But on these tearaway flyers, this can lead them to a spot to schedule a free phone consultation, and it will have something for free for the dog owner that helps them with some sort of pain point and problem, right? Alongside tearaway flyers are business cards. So unlike tearaway flyers that many businesses may say no to because it maybe takes up too much space, maybe they don't have a spot for it, maybe you have to pay for that slot or something like that. Business cards are often more easily accepted within a business, and not to mention they're much easier to hand out to people, and people are more familiar with taking that and like putting it into their purse, putting it into their wallet, and they'll carry it around with them for a while. Maybe they have it inside their car and it's like in a little like dash area or in like the car door area. And so even if they don't look at it and take action right away, business cards tend to hang out with people for a little while, right? So for example, just visually, for the front of your business card, you should have like a QR code, scan for a free phone consultation. They flip it over on the back and boom, there's something right there that is, for free and it's going to provide value for them, right? And this is ideally something that should then lead them into an email nurturing sequence. So that way, once they get that free lead magnet, then you follow up with them with emails that nurtures them, makes them more aware of your business and everything. Even if you don't get them as a client, they are much more likely to recommend you, personal word of mouth, to other people in the area that are looking for a dog trainer, even if they are not looking for one at this current point in time, right? The last part of ambient marketing are street level and local positioning. So with street level ambient marketing, this is where you're passively going to market your business with like your clothing. You can go ahead and design shirts or sweatshirts or something that has your business name and maybe your email address or a phone number or your web address or something like that. Heck, even have a QR code so that way people can do a free phone consultation, right? You can make car magnets or decals. And then training sessions done visibly, like a Ask a Dog Trainer table, branded leashes and pouches. And then local positioning is just training out in public as much as possible so that way you are visible. So local parks, walking around with the trained dog, going to Home Depot, and respectfully training in these different locations. Okay, the next type of lead generation we're going to be talking about is going to be incentives. And this is something that many of these marketing and lead generation strategies that I'm talking about isn't like you choose one and then you don't do the others. More often than not, you're going to implement all of these into your business in some way, shape, or form and at one point or another, right? So incentives. This is a really fantastic marketing and lead generation opportunity, and it's very effective at leveraging your existing clientele or making it very incentivizing for new clients to want to opt into your training program due to your incentive program. So things like referrals, bonuses, and partnerships. So very, very popular and actually a very strategic part of building your business, because it often feels like quote unquote free clients. A lot of beginners kind of gravitate towards this marketing and lead generation strategy because it has that like human sort of connection, and it seems like you are also providing something of value. So for those of you that are feeling a little bit of imposter syndrome, you're feeling a little bit of insecurity, and you still feel that inner desire of like, I need to prove my worth in order for people to sign up with me, then this is often something that a lot of people that have some of those thoughts and some of those feelings is really, really good. But it's also just good business. It's a good part of any sort of business strategy, right? So it can really help with getting some of those first clients. So here are some examples of some incentives programs that you should go ahead and implement into your business. So a referral program, people are really familiar with this. It's really great to have. If someone doesn't have to be a client, refer someone to you and they then become a paying client, they will get some type of reward in return, right? So maybe I get one of your business cards. I am not actually really needing a dog trainer, but I refer someone else to you and I see that you have a referral program. I am way more likely to recommend your business to my coworker, to my mom, to my sister, to my girlfriends, to my book club, to my cooking club, to my online moms group, because I know that you have a referral system and I can get some type of reward. What that reward is, totally up to you, right? You can also have tiered rewards as well of X amount of people equals this type of reward. Limited time discounts, temporary specialty programs, free upgrades, bonuses, and add-ons, a loyalty program, and then discount programs for a multi-dog household. This is something that even to this day, I do still implement into my business, where if there is a multi-dog household, then I do give some sort of incentive to go ahead and go with me versus other people, because why wouldn't I, right? So you may not want to implement all of the incentive programs into your business, but implementing one or two will often be the key deciding factor in between someone going with you versus another local competitor, right? So the other thing, incentives aren't just for clients. You can also set up partnership incentives with businesses that are within the dog niche. So for example, refer a client, receive X or percentage of the package that they signed up for, staff training, classes for free, mutual referral agreements. And so these are really great partnerships to set up. And then if they get stale at any point, then you can go ahead and reinvigorate them with check-in offers, returning client discounts, whatever. But reaching out to like local businesses and setting up some sort of partnership incentives, so they'll go ahead and work with your business, is a really great way to go ahead and get some leads. And it's something that a lot of businesses, if it is something that is mutually beneficial, like with a dog food store or with a pet boutique store or with groomers or with vets or something like that, if you are going to recommend their services and they're going to recommend yours, that's something that is very, very beneficial. And if you have any other sort of kickbacks towards them, that's also going to make it like top of the mind that of course they want to go ahead and recommend your business. Okay, let's go ahead and go to lead generation option number 4, which is going to be event marketing. So with our event marketing, we have local event marketing. So if done correctly, this is such a fast way to build trust. Also a really great way to go ahead and get content that positions you as an authority figure. And so this can be very, very powerful and very appealing to do as a beginner business, okay? It may be really ideal if you're going to be doing event marketing to have other marketing aspects in place like branded clothing and business cards, but don't let those things and you not having them hold you back. You can still generate a lot of leads with good old-fashioned way of just a piece of paper and a clipboard, right? So some places to go to for event marketing. So you can have a table at a local farmer's market. You can attend fairs and festivals, local celebrations and block parties, town community days, animal shelter events as well, right? The other type of event marketing are going to be workshops and demos. And I have this included here just because I want to let you know that when I was first starting my business, actually this wasn't quite exactly when I was first starting my business, but something that I have done throughout my own dog training career, we've all been there. And this is something that I'm not saying, hey, you should go and do this. And I don't have experience with doing any of these types of marketing strategies. I have gone out and personally done a lot of these marketing strategies, right? So a great way to create instant trust is by partnering with local businesses and host mini trainings, workshops, and demos. So you can do free sessions, leash walking, demos, reactivity information, educational sessions, mini puppy training boot camp, and more. So in this one that I did, I partnered with a local, it was like a brewery and bottle shop. And so I hosted just a 5 pillars of dog training, how to get started training any dog. And then I also incentivized it for a raffle into a discounted dog training package. So that was something that was pretty strategic, gained a lot of content while I was there as well. And it was something that I didn't have to rely on just me because I actually can't remember if I had a large following at this point or not. But it's something that you can not have to just rely on yourself and generating a lot of people to come to these events, because the location that you are partnering with, typically they host events because that's one of the appeals and people are wanting to go to these different events, right? So this is kind of an example of that. Another example that I did a couple of years later, went to Charlotte, Lenny Boy Brewing Company. I'm having such a hard time talking today. How embarrassing. But I did a leash walking workshop. This was, I think, during the pandemic is when I did this. So we had to do some social distancing, which is why a leash walking workshop was super awesome. And then we had a raffle, so that way they could go ahead and get free training sessions or discounts into a board and train program. I think it had some online courses or something that they could get in a raffle or something like that. So also something that you could do, leash walking workshop. I had dogs from all different sizes. I had in behavior issues. I had owners in wheelchairs. I had, it was just a really great time. So I partnered, and I did have to travel. I had to go all the way down to Charlotte, but I also think that it was really worth it as well. Another type of event marketing is going to be educational talks. So due to certain times of the year, you may not be able to do some types of event marketing. Like, for example, I could only do this in a very specific time of the year. Couldn't do it when it was too hot, couldn't do it when it was too cold. And so another thing that you can do is to reach out to schools, after school programs, and provide educational talks. So discuss things like dog safety, dog body language, how to approach stranger dogs, or just even simple tips and tricks. A lot of kids have dogs at home. And so if you can teach kids, hey, here are some basics about dog training. If you want your dog to do X, Y, Z at home, you can do these really fun things. And when a kid goes home so excited to train the dog, and it's something that maybe the dog owners were already kind of thinking about, the kid's parents of we should get some training. And then they see that their dog is that their child is so excited about coming home and training the dog. That is some very powerful marketing, because sometimes kids just won't be quiet about some things that they learn, right? You can even approach places like vet tech colleges, apartment complexes, HOAs, and be guest educational speakers at their events. So doing a mixture of educational content and actionable tips, tricks, and advice can be really, really powerful to do. Okay, and then lead generation, option 5. So we are at the end here. I'm going to make it quick and concise for you guys. With all of the lead generation advice I'm going to give to you. So social media marketing is by far the most desired and most used form of marketing by businesses that are small and by businesses that are also very large as well, right? Walmart, very big, uses social media marketing. Ferrari uses social media marketing. Small mom and pop stores uses small social media marketing. And the reason for it is because the majority of people, of consumers, are on social media, and the barrier to entry is very, very low to get onto social media because it's free for you to do, right? So it's the number one category and the most desired to get really, really good at. A lot of times when people start a business and they think about marketing, social media is often the number one and sometimes only thing that they think of when it comes to their marketing and lead generation strategy. So when done correctly, social media marketing can give you fast visibility. It can give you really fast leads. It can provide to you an audience that you can consistently nurture and then also gain revenue from. It can build a lot of credibility, freedom, momentum, ability to raise prices, and also just validation and social proof of what you are doing is something that's really awesome. Whether what you are doing is really, your business is really great, your training is really great, all of that good stuff, really great for networking, building community, all that stuff, right? Now, due to the nature of social media, it's typically a type of marketing and lead generation that is more consistent and less prone to quote unquote spikes of interest when your effort is not tied to it. Depending, there's obviously some nuance, okay? So in comparison, for example, if you do not go out and do flyering or you do not go out and do events, you will notice that when you go out and you do those things, you will get a wave of traffic to your website. You will get a wave of some interest of like lead generation and maybe like free evaluations or consultations, etc. Right? But if you stop doing those things, then your business will slow. Social media is less prone to that, and often the posts that you create can generate leads and traffic continuously, even if you do not post consistently. Especially now that content can be searched for and it will be pulled up on Google. So now if you go to Google and you type, some search query in, sometimes what will get pulled up? TikTok videos will be shown to you. Instagram Reels will be shown to you, right? And so that is some way that your content can be very powerful and it can work for you, is because your social media, even if you created it years ago, it can still pop up in your SEO optimization in whatever search query that people have, right? So while your content can work for you long term, you do have to build up your platform enough with upfront effort to make it work for you, even if you do not post multiple times per week. So what I mean by that is that you can't just make a post tomorrow and then not do anything on your social media profile and then post again in another month, and then your content's still going to be working for you. Because a lot of times what happens in consumer behavior and psychology is that someone is going to go and they're going to see a piece of content and it leads them to your Instagram page, let's say, for example, and then they okay, cool, this has really good information. What's the next natural step that a lot of people take? They then go to your profile. And if your profile isn't very credible and it's not very believable, then a lot of times they are not going to take action on that advice, and they're not going to want to follow you, and they're not going to want to become a paying client, right? Okay, so what is the role of social media marketing in a dog training business? So number one, when you are first starting out, or just even in general, even if you're not first starting out, the goal is always to get more people to know that you exist. So something that a lot of people say about the dog industry, whether it's dog training, dog walking, dog grooming, dog boarding, whatever it is that they say this market is really saturated. And you can take that negatively and be like, oh, there are way too many people in this. I encourage you to look at it from a different viewpoint. Instead of saying the market is too saturated, you should instead say there is a huge demand for this specific thing, right? Because if there are that many businesses, the demand for it is so incredibly high. And not every single business is going to be able to reach that demand, because there's a lot of factors that go into actually signing up and actually paying for dog training, dog walking, dog grooming, dog boarding, whatever it may be, right? So the goal of social media is that people need to know that you exist. Right now, at the very beginning, you are essentially just screaming into the void, okay? And no one knows that you exist. Could be freeing, could be terrifying, depends on if you're a glass half full, glass half empty kind of person. Once people know that you exist, which social media is great for exposing you to new audiences and new eyeballs, then they need to be able to like you. In your social media marketing within your business, I know I keep on saying dog training business because I have a dog training business, but please just insert dog walking business, dog boarding business, dog grooming business, etc. But anyway, the point of your social media is then to nurture people so that way hopefully they like you, right? And then Once people formulate an opinion about you, hopefully positively, and they like you, then your content and your social media platforms, you need to develop a deeper bond to the point where they trust you. Okay. And only then, when people know about you, that you exist in the world, and they like you enough, and they also trust you as well, then they will be able to buy from you. But people do not purchase things, especially something as personal and intimate and often expensive as dog training. And even if it's not dog training, things like dog walking or dog boarding and grooming, these are things that people are looking to establish a relationship, that they can go month after month, year after year to the same dog walker, same boarder, same groomer, whatever it may be. And so you want to be able to build that trust. Now, this can only be done through a level of consistency, a level of intimacy, and also clarity as well. So a level of consistency and visibility via posting, and not just posting for the sake of posting, but posting on multiple different platforms and having a diverse range of where you are getting exposure, and also posting in ways that resonate with your ideal target audience. One of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people make when they start getting onto social media is that they're working with the dog, they snap a picture, and they're like, Fluffy is here with us for 2 weeks of training. Everyone say hi to Fluffy. Need training? Call blah, blah, blah. Website, blah, blah, blah. Email, blah, blah, blah. And that doesn't have any sort of content strategy to it. That's just posting for the sake of posting, okay? Now, besides posting consistency, the next level to that is a level of intimacy. You need to know your ideal target audience intimately. So it's not just dog owners, but it's much deeper than that. And the goal of your content and posting consistently in your content is that you should be able to generate a certain sense of feeling within your content followers, or just even viewers, even if they're not following yet, where they're like, oh my gosh, this is exactly me and my dog, or you took the words out of my mouth, or you are so on point with this or something. There needs to have a level of resonance with your audience in the content that you are posting. And you're able to do that because you know your ideal target audience very, 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 very well. You know their pain points, you know their goals, you know their desires, you know some of the emotional turmoil that they are going through. They know what sort of feeling of emotional wins that they want to have, right? And then clarity. You need to have a well thought out and formulated customer journey where you can funnel people from a prospect to a lead to a client, and after a client, a word of mouth generator, right? That is how you develop a social media lead generation machine for you, right? But you will not be able to monetize off of all of the work that you are doing on social media if you do not have that level of clarity, okay? So what are some common mistakes? We've kind of already touched on these. So the inconsistent posting. So especially at the very beginning, you need to spend the upfront time and cost to create an entire backlog of quote unquote social proof. And you need to have enough content for people to formulate if they want to continue to get to know you, if they're going to hit follow. You need to create content consistently and create a backlog so that way people will stick around, so that way they'll like you and then at some point trust you and then purchase from you. Another common mistake that a lot of people make is that they're talking to other trainers instead of their ideal target audience. So if in the very beginning you feel imposter syndrome, you feel very insecure, and this incessant need to quote unquote prove yourself, or thinking that the people who are following you are only other dog trainers, and it makes you very insecure and it makes you very defensive, and it's going to make it so your audience is not going to be very impressed by you, right? They're going to feel like they're very misunderstood and that there's no reason for them to be there because you're not even talking to them. You don't even want to help them. You are there to prove something to other people. And I see this all the time. You have no system behind the content. You're just posting because you need to be quote unquote consistently posting. But besides that, there is no strategy or intention behind what it is that you are doing. You don't know the different content types, right? So in that previous slide, I talked about the common mistakes, and you may be wondering, okay, Natalie, so what are some of the solutions? Are you just going to tell us, hey, we already know we're doing all these different things. We're coming to you for a solution, right? Don't worry, I got you. So consistent posting solutions. So you first need to figure out why are you not posting consistently? And a lot of people don't post consistently. And this is stuff that, I've had conversations in my DMs. This is from, mentoring people. It's from business consulting calls. A lot of people feel like the topics that are already out there have already been talked about. So why should I talk about it? It's already been talked about a lot, right? You feel overwhelmed by topics and don't know how to choose what to talk about. You don't know how to present topics that you want to talk about. And you spend a lot of time trying to get inspiration about like, okay, I don't really know what to talk about. I'm going to scroll on social media. I'm going to get some inspiration. And then I'm going to go ahead and make a post about that. But you spend so much time scrolling on social media and being a consumer instead of a creator that then you don't have enough time to actually create something because you spend all the time consuming and you're just depleting all of your dopamine in that way instead of bolstering a lot of more of your creative energy so you can actually put something out there, right? So instead, you should develop systems that support your energy because there are, for me, there are 4 different type of energy rhythms that I find myself in and other entrepreneurs find themselves in. So you need to create content systems based on the 4 different energy systems, your schedule, and your message that you are trying to deliver through your content. So you should have some sort of system that works with all of those different things, right? If you feel like you are talking to other trainers instead of dog owners, you may not be showing up because you're scared of getting canceled. You're going to get negative comments from other dog trainers. You're going to feel defensive or insecure because you're just starting out. So you feel the need to overcompensate by being very technical or being very sterile in your messaging, right? And so there's a lot of blockers to showing up on social media. And part of being a really good dog trainer and also a part of being a really good business owner is looking critically at your own patterns of behavior, your own beliefs that you have and your own life habits, and taking a quizzical eye to it, not a critical eye, a quizzical eye to it. So the best solution to this is to just do my social media blocker quiz and then the solution quiz based off of your results from there. The last thing is going to be the strategy behind it all, right? So regardless of your platform size, a few hundred followers, maybe none at all, to several thousands of followers, the downfall of your social media marketing is that you don't have a strategy, right? And so what strategy? What do I mean when I say strategy? Strategy of what content to post to get views, what content to post to nurture and develop trust, systems to convert viewers and followers into leads, and then how to turn leads into paying consumers, right? And you can kind of apply this to any sort of marketing or lead generation that you do within your business, whether you do the event marketing, whether you do SEO optimization, whether you do whatever it is of all the different lead generation and things that we have talked about. The core things that I've talked about here in social media marketing can in many ways also apply to other forms of marketing and lead generation as well, right? So if you are just posting content to post content, even if it is doing well and you're actually feeling like an influencer or something, if you don't have a strategy to monetize off of all of that effort that you are putting in, what is the point, right? What is the point of all of that, okay? So a lot of people, they kind of miss the point that you became a dog trainer because you love helping dogs and changing lives around you. And mostly if you are in this and you are trying to do lead generation, that you want to be your own boss and you want to have your own schedule and you don't want any more corporate nonsense. At least that's how I felt when I left the corporate workforce. And you didn't really want to spend a lot of hours trying to figure out what to post, when to post, how to beat the algorithm, and constantly figure out how to generate leads. But the truth of the matter is, unfortunately, social media is the new word of mouth. Before, people used to, go out with each other a lot more. There used to be a lot more third spaces. People are a lot more isolated now, and that connection in between people is lessened with the rise of social media and also just our life today, the economy and what it is. It can be really hard to go out to these third spaces when, going out to eat and meeting up with friends. And that's where you would get a lot of your recommendations for stuff that's going to cost you usually on average anywhere between $20 to $30. And people just sometimes can't afford that as much anymore, right? So That's why things like some of these different marketing strategies that I told you about can be really important, because people are not in these third spaces anymore. And so social media will be really, really important for you. So it is how your clients are going to find you, trust you, and decide that you are the trainer that they have been searching for, right? So if that is something that you are interested in learning, I have created something called the 21-day social media sprint. And it was specifically designed for dog trainers by a dog trainer to take the guesswork out of content creation. So it's not another program that you are going to buy and then you are never going to open because you felt like a lot of information was just thrown at your face, but you didn't really know what to do with all of it. It is a structured, guided 21-day plan where every single day you take a small actionable step that will move you forward within your business. And it's supposed to work in conjunction with your other marketing strategies, right? And it's broken up into two areas, because what I have noticed is that a lot of you guys are registered for this webinar. I checked out some of your social media profiles and I was already kind of aware of some of your names because we've been following each other for years. And so I noticed that some of you guys are definitely more beginner. And so maybe you are not quite ready to get into creating content every single day. There's still a lot of optimization that you need to do on your social medias. And so there is a 21-day beginner quest log and then an experienced 21-day quest log. And so it has small actionable things that you do every single day, content calendar and all, right? So within that, not only do you get actionable things every single day that you will complete, but you're going to attend a 2-day deep dive mastermind into social media where you'll go ahead and attend or watch the replay, whatever, of exactly how to establish, develop, grow, scale, and monetize your social media presence, right? So that's going to be on December 1st and the 2nd. You will also get access to a community so that way you can ask for feedback, for ideas and support, and you will gain access to courses to help ensure that your actual business is set up for success. So when you do get clients from all this work that we're going to be putting in, they experience a professional business and you have no anxieties, frustrations, overwhelm, or imposter syndrome. So making sure that, are you legally set up legit? Do you have your branding set up? Do you have back-end business administration things? Do you have contracts? Do you have insurance? How do you structure your services? How do you price them? How do you develop a customer journey? How do you do evaluations, consultations? How do you develop a website? How do you make website copy? How do you develop email marketing things? How do you do all these different things? Then you'll also get access to all of those different courses as well. Then you will also get bonuses within the 21-day social media sprint to help you throughout the entire process. So that way you can reach success quickly, easily, and efficiently as possible. And then it also has some video guides as well. So if you don't know how to film, if you don't know what sort of equipment that you should be using, if you don't know how to edit, if you don't know how to post, if you don't know how to do any of these different things within your business, then I have step-by-step videos. So that way it shows you exactly how to do all of those different things and show up on multiple platforms really, really easily. So that way you can be very consistent on social media and it's not going to take you hours to create content. It's going to take you just a little time chunk out of your day, right? And then you will also get an idea bank for dog training specific content, about 10 weeks worth. So about 5 content ideas per week that you will then be able to access. So if you are serious to go into 2026 with a strategic, focused, and optimized plan to generate leads, grow your business, and change lives and make money, then you can join the 21-day social media sprint. It starts on December 1st for the 2-day mastermind. You will get access to all of the resources that I talked about when you first enroll. If you need the resources now, you can go ahead and access them right now. But the actual structured 21-day quest log is going to start on December 3rd. So this was originally going to be priced at $199 to go ahead and do and get access to all of that, but you guys will be able to do it for $39. So that was everything that I wanted to cover during this lead generation webinar. Hopefully this was something that was extremely beneficial to you. I hope that all of the marketing and lead generation strategies that you guys kind of got some deep dive into, you can go ahead and take that and get a lot of ideas from it. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, feel free, shoot me an email, whatever it may be. I don't see any questions inside of the question box, but if you do have some questions, we can go ahead, hang out here for a second if you have questions in regards to dog business, into marketing, into lead generation, whatever it may be. I would love to answer those questions, but if not, I did a good job of staying within that hour time frame. I always tend to go a little bit over. I don't know if you guys noticed, but when you registered for the webinar, I gave myself like a 15-minute buffer just in case. Yes, I have a one-on-one with you tomorrow. Super excited. Need to bring my young business to the next level. Yes, Brian, I have it on my calendar. Super excited. It's the first thing on my calendar tomorrow. I am so looking forward to it. So hopefully, if you have any ideas from today's webinar, definitely bring it during our one-on-one. I already read over your consultation form, and so I already have it all mapped out of how we can go ahead and systematize and optimize your business tomorrow, Brian. Don't worry, I have been thinking about our meeting tomorrow. Angelica, thank you. I'll definitely contact you soon. Yes, definitely, for sure. Okay, guys, thank you much for tuning in. This has been awesome. Feel free to reach out via email, Natalie@teamk9.training if you have any questions. Hit me up on Instagram. But besides that, do look forward to signing up for the 21-day social media sprint if you're serious about growing your business and monetizing off of your social media platforms in 2026, or actually by the end of 2025, because we're going to start on December 1st. All right, guys, thank you guys so much. Have a good day.